Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Saturday, January 25th, 2025, Trump proposed a plan to move the 1.5 million people still living in Gaza to Jordan and Egypt. And today he spoke to Jordan's leader about it. Tomorrow, Sunday, January 26th, he'll speak to Egypt's leader about it. And notice how they're emphasizing this phrase, clean out the whole thing. Recall, before this war began, the day Netanyahu came back into power, I predicted that a major war would begin in Israel right around the time Yale turned 322 years old. Again, Order 322, Skull and Bones, is out at Yale, and they have a lot to do with world affairs. Clean out the whole thing just happens to be a Gematria phrase that equates to 322. Remember, Abrahamic religions equals 322. Ancient mystery religions equals 322. The most prominent of the ancient mystery religions is Kabbalah, based in the Tree of Life, where this whole Gematria thing comes from, the practice of coding numbers into words. But the Tree of Life has 3 pillars and 22 paths and is mentioned in Genesis 3:22, knowing good and evil. Now, think about one of the most prominent Skull and Bones members, George W. Bush, who graduated from Yale Skull and Bones in 1968, the same year World Trade Center construction began in New York, the same year 911 was made the National Emergency Dialing Code, the same year Boeing debuted its jumbo jetliners in light of all Boeing planes being involved in 9/11 and Boeing being founded by a Yale Skull and Bones member and everything else that had to do with 1968 and the big day 9/11. Of course, what happened in Israel that began this war, they called it Israel's 9/11, and it happened on October 7th, 22 years to the day of the U.S. invading Afghanistan after 9/11. Again, the U.S. invaded Afghanistan October 7th, 2001. Don't forget, Rudy Giuliani was the 107th mayor of New York. 9/11 happened on the 107th day of his age. Military equals 107. October 7th leaves 85 days left in the year. Templar equals 85. The Templars waged the Crusades against the Muslims. Skull and Bones, Order 322 at Yale, gets their symbolism from how the Templars bury their dead. George W. Bush, the Skull and Bones member, the Order 322 member, referred to what we did in the Middle East after 9/11 as a crusade. Okay. If you're new here, there are 4 base ciphers of the English language: the alphabetic order, the reverse alphabetic order, and both orders with numerology applied. The war began Saturday, October 7th, 2023. Trump made this proposal on a Saturday, exactly 68 weeks after the war began, while Israel is 76 years old. Notice the gematria of Donald John Trump: 68, 76. The leader of Jordan, who he spoke to today, was born in 62 and is 62 years old at the tail end of being 62. He'll turn 63 on the 30th of this month. But it's interesting how this lines up because both Jordan and Egypt equal 62. The proposal is to move the 1.5 million Gazans to Jordan and Egypt. And realize if that happens, Israel will expand into that territory. And of course, Israel's been expanding ever since it relocated, or the people of Europe relocated down to that region. Remember when it was first created for the Jews who wanted to escape Europe, there was a promise to the Muslim people that they would not encroach into the territory beyond what was granted in the initial setup of Israel. And of course, the boundaries have expanded and expanded and expanded and expanded, and they're going to expand a little bit more here if they move out the people of Gaza. And a lot of people are probably going to look at this as a worthy decision because it could end a conflict, and Gaza's been largely destroyed through warfare. So anyhow, just realize the timing and the ritualism. That's the point I'm making, how all of these events are connected. Don't forget it was Ehud Barak, the leader of Israel, who went on the BBC after 9/11 and said the U.S. needed to declare war on terror and go into Afghanistan and Iraq exactly as we did. As for this 68 piece, the leader of Egypt became the leader on June 8th, which can be written 6-8. And from his November 19th birthday, November 19th is the day leaving 42 days left in the year. From his November 19th birthday to Trump's meeting with him tomorrow, or their discussion on the 26th, well, that's obviously 68 days later. So all this 68 business, exactly 68 weeks into the war. Keep in mind, tomorrow, Sunday, will be exactly 68 weeks after Netanyahu declared war. The war began Saturday, October 7th. Netanyahu declared war on Hamas the next day, Sunday, October 8th. And Trump's proposal came 256 days after Israel's May 14th birthday. 256 is the 201st composite number. Remember, State of Israel equals 201. Huge number that connects the creation of Israel to who really created it, which is the Catholic Church and the Jesuits. Again, there's 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament, and Catholic equals 145. Just like David Ben-Gurion, the first prime minister, that's why it was created on the date 14/5. The Holy Bible equals 201. State of Israel 201. The Jesuit Order 201. Again, David Ben-Gurion did 201 days after the anniversary of Israel's establishment. Netanyahu leaves power June 13th, the day leaving 201 days left in the year. Comes back on Albert Pike's birthday, 1229, when 1229 is the 201st prime. On and on and on. And with regards to the leader of the Jesuits, today's 74 days after his birthday. Of course, Jewish equals 74. This war began while Gaza was still 74 years old. The word killing, 74. A lot of killing in Gaza while it was 74. And the word Messiah is also 74. So is Jesus, so is cross, so is gospel, so is parables. Remember the headlines from when Trump was 74 years old coming out of Israel? That was 4 years ago. About how some people believed he was the Messiah, and it was foretold through Hebrew Gematria. We were telling you back then they were going to resurrect his political career and bring him back as the latest Grover Cleveland in 2025, and here we are. Now he's going to bring peace to the Middle East, maybe, with this plan, by the numbers. And don't forget, CIA. The CIA was created in a massive Jesuit ritual on the 201st day of the Pope's age. CIA, the acronym, has that 68 connection. All these intelligence networks, Israel's Mossad, the U.S.'s CIA, the KGB in the U.K. You learn about the Jesuits. You see how the Jesuits run all these intelligence agencies. Don't forget that whole thing going on in Russia, Ukraine's another big 201 debacle. That's why Biden sent $95 billion on the 201st day of the war in Israel to Israel and Ukraine. Of course, a lot of people in Israel, their ancestry goes back to ancient Khazaria, where the war is going on with Russia and Ukraine. And let's not forget the war with Russia and Ukraine came shortly after Biden and Putin met 201 days into the first ever Jesuit nation year. So yeah, we'll see where this goes, but just realize it's got those CIA numbers all over it. 68 weeks into the war. Saving the meeting for Egypt's leader. You know, hey, if you had time to meet with the Jordan guy today, why not Egypt too? But they got to save it for tomorrow, 68 days after his birthday. I always say 1968, the year of years where so many plans went into motion. It's the year fentanyl was approved by the feds. It's the year C-19 was coined. Yeah. Israel had to take on the most experimental pokey-dokes, didn't they? Anyway, we'll leave it there for now. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Until next time, True Seeker.